Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are gonna be continuing the Let's Play for Reverse 1999. And today, while I patiently wait on Farewell Ryashki to be re-added into the game, we're gonna be taking a tiny dip back into the anecdotes and we're gonna be checking out the one for Zima. As the Getian story pretty much last time suggested that Zima here might be a person of interest for at least Getian. I'm very much interested to see what this is gonna be about. But you guys also suggested to check out Zima's anecdote once I'm done with Notes on Shuori, that there might be some interesting stuff connecting back to Notes on Shuori in it. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what is gonna be in this thing, especially because Zima's anecdote has been on my radar for quite a while now. I think a long time ago one of you guys suggested to take a peek at this one, but at some point in the future, that is. And now is the time. Now is the best time before something else gets re-added into the game. And yeah, we're gonna see what is happening in this one. And in the next episode after this one, we're gonna be checking out the new ending that was added for the series of Dusks as well. I'm very interested to see what they did with that one. I'm morbidly curious what kind of ending they added to that, because the last one was very, very cool, and I don't know what else they can do with that. Like, legitimately, I do not know what else they can do with that thing, unless it's gonna be something absolutely depressing, but we'll see next time. For now, it's time to see what Zima is about. But before I begin with anything, very quickly as well, I had to, legitimately 2 hours ago, I had to reinstall the whole game. For some reason, launching the game today just did not want to work. I resetted the PC a couple of times, nothing was happening. The game just loaded in, got stuck on the initial load-in image of Sonetto, and it was hanging there for minutes on end. And nothing was happening, so I had to reinstall the whole game. So if the game sounds a bit off, please do tell me in the comment section below. I think I reset the whole soundscape that I had set up for the game back to what it was in the settings of the game, that is. So hopefully it will sound normal. I do boost the sound a tiny bit anyway in editing, so it should be fine for you guys, but just in case, because all the settings got pretty much reset for the game after I had to reinstall it, so hopefully it's gonna be fine. What was happening with it, I have no idea. I tried a couple of things, it just didn't wanna, so I reinstalled the whole thing. It still hanged on the same spot, just took way less time, and it actually launched. I don't know, weird stuff. No idea what was happening. But yeah, that's that, and this is this. So yeah, you guys suggested this to me to check out Zima's anecdote, and speaking of suggestions and comments from the previous episode, Mask Re9Re said, Gio's interview with Pandora Wilson makes sense after you do the story in Utu 1.6, and this was the last story with cutscenes and the first that takes place at the same time as the main story, and explains, as in the main story of the event, and explains how Getian escaped from prison after being captured. So that you don't get confused when looking at her, reading some interviews with Pandora, you will find out that she has the power to possess objects, generally envelopes or papers, but she also has some exceptions in those interviews with other objects, and lips appear on those objects. Okay, that makes more sense. Because, again, I didn't see the Utu story for from 1.6 yet. I will, however, considering that the next episode after this, like I said earlier, is gonna be the one for a series of Dusks, and I don't think the ending sequence is gonna be too long, so it's probably gonna be a shorter episode. In the next episode, I'm gonna try and dig out a video, probably the Timekeeper channel that I was using prior probably has a recording of that thing, so I'm gonna take a peek over there and see if I can find a compilation video of those cutscenes from the 1.6 Utu story, and hopefully it's not a long one. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't even taken a peek yet at that thing. Hopefully it's not too long, but we'll check that out next time, because that comment and another comment from the previous episode made me curious even more about checking the story for that Utu stuff out from 1.6. And yeah, that what you said there with Pandora possessing objects and stuff, and the other comment also pointing that out, that makes way more sense why Dew would be reacting to Pandora in that way, like she's seen her before, and the context towards Besmert. Because I was thinking legitimately that she is legitimately talking to Pandora face to face, and that she just looks like Besmert. Like I was thinking that, oh, is she just another lookalike? But yeah, thank you for clarifying that. So that makes way more sense in that context. And then for the next time, I will try and dig up a video with a compilation of the cutscenes from the 1.6 Utu story. And we can take a read through it and see what is happening in it, and what was rather happening in it. And yeah, also very interesting that apparently it's the only one that ran at the same time, or rather story-wise ran at the same time like the main event story. Very interesting. They did a couple of exceptions in 1.6, didn't they? But yeah, anyway, Mask, thank you very much, and thank you very much for the suggestion as well. But yeah, Zima. This is gonna be a thing. Also, speaking of Zima, I wish it was currently Zima, aka Winter. It is very, very warm right now. But yeah, this thing has apparently 8 nodes, which is kinda nutty. But let's see. Ooh, pretty. Sparrow in hand. Oh yeah, I had to remind myself, because obviously I'm gonna be doing the character voices for this story. I had to remind myself how he sounds. Oh, this is gonna be fun. He stutters a lot. This is gonna be fun. Sparrow in hand. It hides so well that not even a dog can find it. Alright, let's see. Back to Earth. Library suitcase. Okay, we're starting in a suitcase, huh? 2 figures are reading, illuminated by the soft lights of the library. They sit in a comfortable harmony, a tacit understanding between them. Okay, is it Zima, and who's the other one? Sonetto. Alright. The only sound is the turning of pages. It is a silence that will break as their mutual agreement ends. After all, this girl has a question forming in her mind. Oh god, please. Okay, if it's his name, oh, I'm gonna have to remember if they keep writing his name in Russian. Oh boy. I hope when he speaks they're not gonna have random Russian words on screen, because I'm not gonna be able to read those. Excuse me, Mr. Zima? It seems the man is in a world of his own. He does not even notice her voice. The girl lowers her tone. It is shorter, urgent, and almost piercing. Mr. Zima! Oh god. Oh wait, Zima and Zima? Snap out of their trance? Is the Sparrow called Zima as well? Okay. What?
My apologies.
Sorry, maybe I shouldn't ask you here. But you have the most extensive knowledge of poetic imagery of anyone I know. I have a question that's been bothering me for a while.
The chickadee on his shoulder shakes its head in surprise and takes flight. She takes no notice, fully focused on receiving her answer.
I've been wondering, what's your interpretation of a sparrow in hand and a goose in the sky?
Okay.
Is it simply referring to these two animals literally, or does it include all the extended symbolism from previous works? Or perhaps, as some suggest, this is some kind of highly directional metaphor?
Zima silently picks up a pen, preparing to write his response in the book lying open in front of him. Sonetto keenly perceives his intent.
Please don't do that.
The Chickadee tilts its head, seemingly confused, perhaps even a little annoyed.
These books are from Timekeeper's collection. If you write on its pages in ink, it'll spoil the experience for the next reader.
Sorry.
It's not stone anymore. I forgot.
It's because you don't have any blank paper. Here, use this notebook. Just like your piles of parchment, I've filled many notebooks. Writing down my thoughts helps me clear my head.
I use parchment to write.
Of course, parchment is a very good choice.
I'm not sure.
I think there's some over there. I'll go look for it. Hold on. It should be here. Found it.
When she turns around, a breath of cold air sweeps past her. The book remains open on the desk. The quill, its owner, and the Chickadee named... Oh, it is named Zima, okay. Have all disappeared.
What?
Mr. Zima? Did I say something wrong?
Okay, where do you go? Also, that's funny. The bird is called Zima. Archives, Foundation.
Every time I ask a question, it seems like he doesn't want to answer. And what did he mean by stone?
Alright.
Well, I could take a look at his file. Maybe it'll help me avoid making the same mistake again. I'll just take a little peek.
Huh?
The file contains only a few pages, despite covering half of his life within it. Really? That's a quick summary of someone's life. Okay. Whispers in Black Forest. The thick woods, glowing campfires, and plenty of agile and daring companions. Animals? I'm getting reminded of that Arcanists story titled The Black Forest Was a Dream. Sonetto stands under the overhead light, slowly reading aloud the words in her hands.
In 1912, the poet was charged with insulting the highest authorities. He was sent to eastern Siberia, then transferred through various prisons, and eventually exiled to a solitary island. Over the next decade, he lived there in isolation. His poetry was inseparable from the animals on the island.
Okay. Oh yeah, I just noticed in the document, it's his signature and then the bird also signed with its with its feet. In the forest, Zima sits on a rock in a clearing. A group of animals surrounds him, a small forest gathering. Believe not in the unbelievable, and touch not that which is untouchable. Okay. Oh, oops. A brown bear beside him places a thick paw on his arm, making the parchment in his hand wobble. Sir, please, don't touch. There should be no pause here. It interrupts the matter. Look not back on the path you did not take. Iron wings, a warning to the hunter makes, yet in his greed he disregards it still. On his left, a fox paw paws his sleeve disapprovingly. Please behave. Wait until I'm done. Try as he might, he cannot reach his prey. Futility destroys his world this day. A sable drapes itself around his neck. It whispers in his ear. Yes, you're right. The hunter is simply incorrigible. And I'm afraid there are still many such people in the world. May they reap what they sow. Alright. In the background of this harmonious scene, a reindeer shakes its antlers. Her descent nearly knocks the poet off the rock upon which he is sitting. Miss, I understand. You're saying that the hunter is just trying to survive. I simply don't agree. It is out of vanity, not hunger, that he refuses to return empty-handed. Are there only truly gems in a pigeon's belly? The branch it perches on cannot bear the weight of a man. The hunter aims to persecute the pigeon, yet it warns him. When he falls into the snow embraces him. Truly, forgiving. Yes, it reminds me of... How can we not love Earth more than heaven? Nature is the fabric of our world. We are like potted plants placed amidst its great garden. A chickadee flies from afar, landing firmly and accurately on his shoulder. Surprise and intimacy, a pair of long-lost friends.
Zima?
He looks so fluffy with all of that stuff, all of those animals around him. My friend, you've been gone for so long. I had begun to think that you had fallen into a hunter's trap. The surrounding animals immediately become alert. But there are no hunters here. Just us. The Hikadi? I think the C is missing there. The chickadee shakes its head and chirps, displeased. It looks desperate for the full attention of its friends. What did you say? But...
Sorry.
No, I should go. The news leaves him trembling. Zima's papers scatter to the ground, but he is too hurried to pick them up. He leaps down from the rock, puts out the fire, and disappears into the depths of the forest. His friends, of course, follow close behind. What is he, Snow White? According to the poet's own account, the years on the island were marked by bitter cold and loyal companions. Many friends. By now, she has fallen into a nearby chair and is sitting in contemplation. Her gaze lingers on the file. These quiet years lasted at least until the mid-1920s. Until a human journalist from the government set foot in that land of the Far East. Good God, he was long on that island alone. Holy. No wonder he stutters like that. Actually, now I kind of wonder if the stuttering is caused by him living so long in isolation, or if it's just his natural way of talking. Also, this is going very fast all of a sudden. I was kind of expecting these to be longer, considering this has 8 of them. Self-exile. We were not exiled. We volunteered to build our homeland far away. No, it's a boat.
That's surprising.
It's so desolate. Compared to this place, Tobolsk is like the Leningrad of Siberia. There must be a bounty of untapped resources here. I'd be more focused on finding a place to stay if I were you.
May I ask?
In what direction is the nearest town? How far is it? Town? There's nothing but prisons here, lad.
What?
Prisons?
Yes.
You heard me. Not even a pigeon would stop to crap in this cesspit. So, where are these prisons? You're in one, mate. Huh, I get it. You're messing with me. You came all this way and you don't even know a single thing about this place. You're dead meat. I just came here to investigate. Head south, or buy another ticket and come back with us. That's my suggestion.
No.
I can't. When will your ship come back again?
I'm not sure, Dad.
Side barges are certainly managed. It could be 15 days, maybe longer. Until then, do your best to stay alive. Very isolated. The government journalists discovered the poems and stories while searching for shelter. They were written on pieces of wood, stones, and scattered parchment. Ecstatic at his discovery, the journalist set out to identify the author and collect them all. He was playing Slender in the woods. He just hit me. He went to an isolated place and started gathering notes left all over the wilderness. On trees, on rocks. He was playing Slender. Anyway.
Mr. Zima doesn't seem like someone who could handle something like that.
Oh dear.
If it weren't for these stone-paved roads, I swear I would have marked this place as a no-man's land.
In an opening not far away, crude shacks, some empty or collapsed, stretch out like long scars torn into the earth. At the center lies an extinguished campfire.
That's weird.
What about those people who were exiled about a decade ago? Did they all escape?
In those surviving records, the end of the exile policy... But anyone who found themselves in this environment must have constantly thought of escaping. Forget it. I'll look for traces of life first. Maybe I'll find... Huh? The fire. It's still warm.
That's...
Is this... Half-burned parchment is scattered around the campfire in a scene of attempted destruction. He picks up one sheet.
Parchment paper with poetry on it, and a still smoldering campfire. Someone is definitely here. Who could it be? Who would write poetry in a place like this?
It is an amazing discovery. The next occurrence, however, is even more surprising. A bird swoops over and snatches the parchment from his hand like an eagle plucking a fish from the ocean.
Hey!
That's mine! I found it! You nasty little thing! Give it back!
Humans who neglect to exercise are no match for wild animals. Go and touch grass, human. What this human now faces is a primitive yet most difficult to resist ambush. Primitive but efficient. It is orderly and prepared.
What's wrong?
What's going on?
Shoot.
How are there so many? The birds dedicated to driving off the intruder give him no answer. Chirping. But please, let go of my clothes. Where are you taking me? The parchment? I don't want the parchment. Give me back my notebook.
No.
No, that's the brooch my mother left me. In such chaos, opportunities are fleeting. He must grab it and take back what is his. You!
Stop!
Give it to me! Let go! Oh, actual feathers on screen, what the hell? The sudden surge of resistance deters the birds for a few seconds. There is a brief pause in their attack. Then a figure leisurely steps out of the woods. Zima. Please. Stop.
Sorry.
About your mother's brooch. Uh-huh. Okay, that definitely feels like his stuttering comes from him just living in isolation, which is understandable if he didn't utilize human speech a lot. An easy discovery. This is already halfway through, Jesus. Keep talking, just keep talking. Okay, keep talking and no one explodes? We grow, yet no one knows. Like poplars in the winter.
That's...
Did you write that? It's beautiful, but...
May I ask?
Could you please ask your bear friend to stand a little further back? The huge brown bear stands stubbornly between the two, a mighty guard.
Sorry.
Medvedevich? Cute. Mr. Medvedevich, please stand on my left.
Oh.
You can talk to them? More than that, we communicate.
Okay.
Okay, I have a few questions. In the recompense for what you just put me through, could you answer them for me?
Da.
I didn't expect him to say it. A full sentence. I thought it's just a soundbite of, Go ahead. Why did you come here?
What if...
If you prefer not to say, I'll ask a different question. There is a brief struggle in the poet's mind. Eventually, his rationality to end this quickly defeats his desire for silence. Because of a poem for the Tsar, I didn't want to write one. I say, the Tsar? So you're a political prisoner who once walked Green Street. I should have guessed earlier. But sentences mandated by the Tsarist government ended long ago. Didn't you know?
Sorry.
I don't understand. To me, there isn't much difference who I serve the sentence for. Have you ever thought about going back? You should. You have no idea how great the motherland is today. He remains silent as the reporter blathers on. The poet raises his head. As far as the eye can see, there is nothing but endless forest. Where is this motherland? No. I already belong here. He found his new home. Alright. The poet was not interested in the journalist's suggestions. However, the journalist did not give up, hoping to change his mind through persistence.
I see. Maybe. That's just...
Maybe I shouldn't. I hope this isn't the story of the hunter and the pigeon. Uh-huh.
I think that...
Our cause could use the support of a concise and compelling spokesperson like you. He's just done with him. The turns of phrases, the imagery, the metaphors, Every line brims with an innate charm. Sir, even though you refuse to tell me your name,
I must.
I must invite you again to return with me. I would be more than willing to help you publish these works. If we bring back these manuscripts and transcribe the verses from the stones, your legendary experience surviving Devil's Island, enduring such a harsh environment, yet continuing to create in the face of it all, would surely capture people's attention. You're a living legend, the last of the old guard. If you return to Moscow, fame, money, and status will all be at your fingertips. The Chickadee shakes its head in silent refusal. Also, Devil Island is... I think is a real place, right? Devil's Island. French penal colony that was operational for 100 years from the year of 1852 until 1952 and officially closed in 1953 in the Salvation Islands of French Guiana. Okay, so interesting. It's a French penal colony. Why would he be on a French penal colony? That is a good question now. Anyway, unless in this unless there is another Devil's Island, because I feel like I've heard another island being called that, or maybe there is another Devil's Island in this universe. I don't know. We'll see. The Chickadee shakes its head in silent refusal. Zima shakes his head too.
Why?
No? Why? Isn't that what you want? He is clearly puzzled, so much so that he continues to inquire as to his reasoning. Or did you not actually write these poems? That's not important. Maybe I did write them. Or maybe Zima wrote them, or Mr. Medvedich. Zima? They are just poems. That's all. What do you mean by that? Are you some sort of responsibility shafting liberal? What is that sentence? Anyway. What's that? And I have no legendary experience. Suffering should not be embellished and exploited.
But
You obviously have a sense of belonging to this place. You said so yourself. You've fallen in love with it, despite its wild, primitive nature. That being the case, can this experience really be considered suffering from you? For you?
Sorry.
This is my opinion. You haven't seen those who died. Huh? Oh, fire. The scorched earth, the collapsed shacks, the desolate forests with few traces of humanity. The roads paved with blood-stained stones. Where did they come from? Is there anyone who remembers? Uh-huh. Because of the cold, hunger, injuries, and despair. They are right under your feet. That's what he means. Okay.
May I refuse?
Go back alone. I decline your offer. Okay. So how is he gonna get convinced to go back then? Returning with abundance. There's nothing more to be said. Alright. Sure. Please don't follow me again. He turns around to leave, beginning to regret his refusal of Mr. Medvedich's earlier offer. The chickadee crouches on his shoulder, keeping a black, seedy eye on the journalist.
I'm sorry.
Sir, I have no other choice. When I arrived here, the boatman told me that it would be at least 14 days before the barge next docked. Until then, I really have nowhere else to go. So, head south. I'll probably die from hopelessness and exhaustion before I ever make it. You see, all these things I have with me are just like my life, completely useless. To be honest with you, I've come all the way here and found nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm totally clueless. Even if I manage to return alive, I'll be laughed out of the room by my peers. Every part of this horrible trip will have been a total waste of time.
It might be...
But if I follow you, and if luck is on my side, I might discover something new. You seem like a kind-hearted person. I'll ask my friend. I'll ask him to lead you to where humans gather. The chickadee jumps with dissatisfaction. It seems to be very much against this suggestion.
Да.
Oh, alright. He thinks hard, trying to find a way to satisfy everyone. Does it usually take this much energy to deal with humans? Yes. Maybe he should not have answered any question in the first place. What do you want?
Here's the case.
You still don't get it, do you? All your problems will be solved if you just agree to let me collect some of your poems and stories. Look, if you agree to this, I'll have the motivation to leave the island. No need to worry about what comes afterwards. I'll go back to minding my own business. No more following you around. Is that so?
Of course.
Yes. Then I agree. Take them.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll retain your right of authorship. I don't need credit. But the author must always be named. Otherwise, what will the readers call you? The poet of Devil's Island? Actually, he makes eye contact with the chickadee on his shoulder. A name slips off its tongue. Okay, so he named the bird Zima, and then took the name Zima as his own, both as his working name for the foundation, I guess, and his good God, this guy.
Zima?
Zima is good. The bird is the true poet. Alright. So the paper is technically signed by the bird. Cool. The poet gave the journalist permission to take the sheets of parchment. But just when he thought that life would return to normal...
Huh?
Thought?
Oh?
So it didn't then. Oh my goodness.
More people embarked on the path to the island, paved with blood and stone, in search of his poetry, his stories, and him. Yeah, now that the world knows him, they're gonna come after him. Because they're curious. The island has never been more crowded. The forest is filled with masses of people. They swell and separate, bumping and shoving into each other like live sardines, writhing in an open can. How many people are here?
So?
Is this what the papers were talking about? Stones engraved with poetry and fables?
Of course.
It must be. This place is just like the frozen wasteland in my hometown. If you don't work the land until your hands are riddled with frostbite, then nothing comes of the place. It's amazing that Zima can continue to create here.
I heard that.
It's more than just amazing, it's downright unbelievable. I heard that Zima has been stranded on this island for so long that he can communicate with animals. He's almost a savage.
What if?
If someone who can write poetry as great as his is considered a savage, then doesn't it make the rest of us all the more primitive?
It might be...
Maybe he survives by gathering fruit and hunting? The first person to report the poet of the Devil's Island was the now editor-in-chief of the Truth newspaper, Shuori. He certainly didn't say anything about that. But he got the sheets of parchment with Zima's poetry and was promoted from investigative journalist to literary editor as soon as he returned. Last month he sent all of the sheets of parchment to an exhibition. I saw them at Mikhailovsky Castle. They were written in French and Russian and something that looked like Latin.
So,
So what you mean to say is that Zima can write in 3 languages and therefore cannot be a true savage?
He's a cultured savage. Aren't we all?
What an oxonym.
so,
Nonetheless, I've been getting more and more curious. His collection of poems has been out for so long, but has anyone actually seen Zima in person?
Are you implying something? Do you think this is some kind of elaborate hoax? I don't see why anyone would set up a hoax to increase tourism to this place.
Isn't that so?
Besides, the poems on the parchment and on the stones in front of us all seem so real, don't they? Anyway, I hope this is all real. I traveled here so that I might see him in person. Chekhov's journey to a distant island already seems like a hoax to me at this point. The conditions here are much worse than the book described. Very quick question, is this the same Chekhov as in Chekhov's gun? That analogy?
Did you forget about the war?
Well, Zima doesn't mention that in his works. The sound of their discussion echoes through the forest. The echoes reach the ears of a neatly uniformed duo a little way away. They are approaching. Uh-huh. He's back. Name day is back. Oh, that was quick. Hi. Okay, so this is how he's gonna learn about Zima, and that then leads to him telling about Zima to Getian. Okay. The person living on this island must be quite eccentric. I mean, engraving words on rocks by the sea.
Traces of arcane skills on the beach. Huh, he even found writing on the cliffs in places where a pigeon couldn't perch. Although the traces are obvious, they are totally irregular. Interesting. Oh, maybe this time we'll encounter a bear with several doctorates and serious social anxiety, like Mr. Mishka.
Who?
Mr. Mishka? Don't make such arbitrary guesses, especially about such boring nonsense. Quit contemplating and focus on the mission. There are even more keen skill fluctuations here than on the cliffs. That proves we're on the right track. Where are the fluctuations? On those rocks up ahead.
Okay. Interesting. So this is how he ended up on the radar of the Foundation. Alright. Poet in the street. Somebody has to tell the truth, right? Right? Okay. The two Foundation investigators trudge through the snow, like two cats with broken whiskers making their way towards the rocks. Oh, he is investigator too, okay. Right, it's rather crowded. If we dug down right here, do you think we'd strike oil? I suggest we wait for the crowd in front of that rock to disperse a bit before we collect samples from the carvings on it. Got it. You're the chief investigator after all. What choice do I have but to listen to you? Even so, I'd rather we make decisions together. Understood. Not to interrupt, but there seems to be some commotion over there.
By the... let me see, the biggest rock over there. I suggest we go over and see what's going on.
Nice.
Agreed.
As they approach, the sound of argumentation grows louder. The debaters are stubbornly holding their ground. A crowd has gathered around them, awaiting the result with bated breath.
But it wouldn't be impossible to develop this island even so far from the mainland. After all, that's what several tsars spent 200 years doing.
So if these are fake, who is Zima's ghostwriter?
I believe.
I still don't think there's a ghostwriter. Whether written on a parchment or stone, there is an amazingly consistent and special warmth maintained in the language. It'll be extremely difficult for a city dweller to emulate it. I'd really like to meet the author. After a brief silence, the dissenter speaks again, this time with words of praise.
He's actually quite admirable.
The savage, you mean? Think about it. If it's true, then this person has been living here in this place for all these years. Somehow he survived while writing beautiful poetry in the process. And for some reason, he never escaped or left, even after becoming famous.
What if...
On the other hand, if it's false, it still means that someone has taken the time to scratch all these poems into these stones and write in 3 languages on those parchment papers you saw. It's quite a feat. Yes, from that perspective, it's remarkable nonetheless.
It actually is.
A consensus, however brief, has been reached. A new voice of dissent echoes from somewhere in the crowd. How disappointing. There is nothing remarkable. One could see this anywhere. Even a child could write this. Alright, buddy. Now back to Sonetto. The crowds seem to have ruined everything. They continuously poured onto the island, expressing their opinions about the engraved stones. They persistently searched for any trace of the poet's existence. But this time the poet did not hide. He tried his best to get everything back to normal.
May I ask?
Excuse me, do you know the poet? How else could you make such a judgment? Anyone with eyes can see it.
Oh,
Then have you insulted not just the poet, but all of us too?
These lines are so blunt and crude. The technique is inferior. It's like sticking straw into the tundra and praising the land's vitality. Do you think you could write better? It's just nonsense carved into stone. Even you could write better.
Well...
I suppose you're a famous poet yourself. May I ask what works you've written? When I return, I shall seek them out and read them.
This comment is met with a wave of laughter. During the conversation, the crowd has divided into 2 distinct camps. The instigator, who is vigorously disparaging these poems, stands alone in the center, like Moses after he parted the Red Sea. Wow, that is an analogy. The difference is that this Red Sea has not parted to give way to him, but to allow them to confront him more fiercely. The Chickadee perches on his shoulder, pressing against his neck, eager to alleviate this moment of speechlessness. Language, whether written by hand or spoken from the tongue, has never seemed so pallid as it does at this moment. Oh, the shit is that sound now? In the strange silence, a faint blue, icy halo appears beneath his feet. The howls of beasts and the cries of birds echo from the forest behind him. Uh-oh.
Look! The man in the middle! It's the same arcane fluctuation. He looks pretty much the same as the others. Is he the Arcanist who's been carving things all over the place? He must be. And now we know why. He's a poet. Wow, these blurbs are so quick. Holy shit. When I saw that this story has like 8 nodes, I was expecting this to take like 2 hours, you know, the usual. But this one is super quick. Alright. In the cold night, listen, the sound of the heaven's flute draws near once more. Alright. The image of the beach from the island. Beneath the cliff, a hidden conversation quietly unfolds. Provided that conversation is understood in the loosest sense of the word.
I see.
We know you're trying to dispel the influx of people coming here. Otherwise, you wouldn't have risked exposing yourself by coming out and disparaging your own work. Even if you criticize your own writing as worthless, the people who are already here will not leave easily. Alright, we'll register you as a slightly extreme but inclusive Arcanist. He's a poet. These two. The chickadee flaps up and down uneasily. It's alright. Sorry, what did you say? I think he was talking to his bird. Oh, I've heard about that. That some people can communicate with animals, like chatting with a pike while ice fishing. A well-meaning fisherman is likely to master that skill. Or have you heard the fairy tale? He's an Arcanist.
So?
Therefore, I must remind you that your previous actions violated the public security law. You may not have meant any harm, but they were dangerous nonetheless. The chickadee chirps fiercely, trying to argue with them. The poet remains silent. There's no need to be so serious. Nothing bad happened, did it? It's part of our job to handle these things before they become a problem. Alright. I think I mentioned when I introduced myself earlier that we are investigators from the St. Paulo Foundation. This is a routine investigation to locate Arcanists. When we docked, we detected a large-scale fluctuation in arcane skills. Those carvings in the bizarre spots on the cliffs. You brought those, right? But I didn't quite understand them. Don't pay any attention to him. Jesus Christ. Yes. A small gap opens in the stone wall that is his silence, letting a sliver of light shine through. Those poems. You wrote them, right? They're beautiful, even though their location is a little strange. It is best to talk about poetry with a poet. It gives them some distance between themselves and their words, allowing them to speak more freely. Standing before the gap in the stone, a happy expression at last appears on the poet's exhausted face. They're allegorical poems. I wrote them for passing birds to read. You wrote them for the birds. Alright. The investigators from the St. Paulo Foundation gave the poet another choice. A choice he had never imagined he would be presented with and was genuinely shaken by. Then Mr. Zima joined the Foundation? So... Huh. What did they offer him? I hope they show that. In summary, the St. Paulo Foundation can provide you with a quiet, safe, creative environment, perhaps... Of course, they told...
They told the guy who loves to live in isolation to, hey, if you come to us, you can keep being in isolation. Perhaps even an Arcanist companion for you to talk to, and so on and so forth. If you have any special requirements, these specific terms can be negotiated further. Registration does not affect an Arcanist's freedom of movement. We simply need to know your whereabouts. Indeed. In fact, many Arcanists like yourself, who prefer to be alone, agree to be registered. After all, there's no harm in it. Why not think it over? Ah, yes, I almost forgot to ask. What's your name? The chickadee flies from one shoulder to the other. It happily chirps a word, a name. Zima.
Zima?
Zima, right? Okay. I understand that this place might be more familiar to you than your motherland. The idea of a motherland is symbolic after all. I'm sure you are more aware of that than most, given your literary leanings. Oh, listen to me. Whether you make a living with your pen or your hands, it's all the same. Anyway, you don't have to make a decision right away. We'll be staying on the island for some time. Yes, this area is yet to be explored by the Foundation.
It might be...
There may be other Arcanists. Zima knows there are no other Arcanists here. He has touched every rock that the sea strikes along the shore, has spent countless nights under the moonlight wandering through dark pines, and has sat by many campfires reading poetry. In the 6-month-long winter, amidst the fierce gusts of the westerly wind and the brief warmth of a clearing sky, there is no one else, no other Arcanists, just him and his friends. Okay, wait, 6-month winter. Okay, then it can't be the thing that I looked up earlier. There has to be another Devil's Island then. Okay. He knows, and he knows it well. And yeah, I'm mentioning that specifically because the island that I found is very close to a very warm spot. It's very close to the equator. I don't...
Sorry.
I don't know. From the forest to the cliffs to the coast, thoughts and hesitations draw out time to infinity. Zima looks out at the rising sun from the end of the long empty dock. A distant semicircle, a fire held in the hands of the night, splitting sea from sky. It is bright enough to scorch the eyes, or at least enough to make them sting. Everything feels small before this vast horizon. Interesting. And already at the end, huh? This one was very fast. Something else. Don't worry, the future isn't all doom and gloom. Okay. The poet accepted. He completed the registration the next month, the only additional condition being that he would continue to stay on the island. After 3 months of negotiations, the Foundation retrieved the exhibited manuscripts from the authorities, but the poet never returned to take them. The original copies are currently housed in the Far East branch of the Foundation library. Copies are also available for reference at other branches.
The library.
That's awesome.
I'll go check them there in a bit.
She leaves through to the end of the file. There is only a half-blank page and the hardback cover. Scrawled in the margin is an almost imperceptible signature. Zima.
But before I go, there's one more thing I have to do.
Yeah? Oh, back to this image. Okay, so his other works are being kept in the far eastern branch, huh? Okay. The sky is brightening as the morning mist clears. Platinum awnings dot the beach. In the distance, a heavy barge from Amur is outlined against the shore. Magnificent yet small, it bobs like an iceberg floating in the sea. The ship is here. Zima stands on the dock, surveying the scene as he did when he first set... Okay, this is auto-scrolling for some reason. Oh, because it's zooming in. Holy shit, the auto-scroll went for a bit. Apologies for that. But I'm not gonna do his voice and then stumble around with it. Anyway. Where do we begin with this? Zima stands on the dock, surveying the scene as he did when he first set foot on the island. The chickadee, by his ear, chirps a question and he answers. I still don't know. Perhaps I should go to the Foundation. Just like they said, there are many people like me there. I can write poems and forget all about the wilderness, fires, sickness, and the hunger. I won't be bothered by those people. It would be like heaven. I just need to board the ship. Do you understand? The chickadee sings a poem, which fails to answer the question. A fleeting smile crosses Zima's face. You understand. But here, the sun and moon are eternal. Eternal stones, walnut shells, parchment, and all of you. Aww. He likes his animal friends. The joys of heaven are too vast and too remote. Let's go back. Alright. Corridor suitcase. Good God, the suitcase is so big. The corridor leading to the library is as empty as it was when she left.
Mr. Zima is usually here at this hour. I hope he didn't change his plans.
Sonetto gently knocks on the half-open door.
Mr. Zima?
The only response is the chirping of a chickadee. Zima is indeed there, along with a scroll of parchment and a bottle containing a strip of paper.
Huh?
That's the parchment I took out earlier. And a bottle? There's a paper inside. Is it for me?
Zima gives an earnest nod.
Alright.
Okay, I'm going to open it. Please read. Huh? Please read what?
She looks up. Zima has already unfolded the parchment on the table with its beak. Of course, a poet would present a poem. Poetry can give voice to the dead. Poetry can be a prophecy or simply an expression of one's thoughts and emotions. In 100 feet of snow, a dead branch, a quill will be sufficient to write about the moon's passage both night and day, to write about the frosted needles caught in treetops, the sound of the wind to write about the nothingness of night and the all-embracing sea. They light a bonfire, crackling, flickering, and before the fire leaves their eyes, they sing. What did you see? The rocks do not reply, but a young voice says, humanity. Okay, not gonna lie, that sent a bit of shivers down my spine. Zima's small, distinct black claw marks are stamped on the corner of the parchment. A budding sprout, the branching veins of a leaf. Hold on, I want to read the poem one more time. So apologies, I just want to go through it one more time. In 100 feet of snow, at that branch, a quill will be sufficient to write about the moon's passage both night and day, to write about the frosted needles caught in treetops, the sound of the wind, to write about the nothingness of night and the all-embracing sea. They light a bonfire, crackling, flickering, and before the fire leaves their eyes, they sing. What did you see? The rocks do not reply, but a young voice says, humanity. That was an interesting way to describe it, but very appropriate. Anyway, a budding sprout, the branching veins of a leaf. The two signatures form a journey that has never been taken. A journey of humanity? Okay, that was very interesting. Poetry show. Huh. Okay, so that's his story, huh? Very interesting. That's how he came back to the Foundation. Essentially, he embarks on a journey to see humanity for himself, I guess. The one thing he never properly saw. Or something like that, if I'm understanding that correctly based on the poem. But, okay. Okay, so the only reference in here that was connecting back to Notes on Shuori is that name day, Jesus Christ, appeared in this story as well, huh? Okay. Okay, I see. I will say though, I was kind of expecting him to maybe reference in one of his, like, there's gonna be a poem or something where he references one of Getian's people maybe or something. I wonder now even more. Did our dear Boyo here suggest for Getian to meet Zima purely because Zima has like a thing for animals? Was that the whole reason he suggested to Zima to Getian to go and meet Zima? That's kind of funny if that's the case. But anyway, before we round up today's episode, we're gonna take a peek at Zima's whole file as well. So let's hop on over. Zima, an Arcanist's work exhibited in the early 20th century for 29 years, completed in spring on April 28th. Exhibited in some exile land which belonged to the Russian Empire. Okay. Again, I tried to, in between the last take and this one, just to look up if there is another Devil's Island or something around Russia, and the only hits I'm getting are the ones for French Guinea and nothing else. Unless there is an island around Russia. I have this distinct feeling that I've seen on a map at some point an island around the Russian waters that is similarly called, but I cannot remember the name. But I don't know if that island was ever used as a penal colony or prison colony or whatever the hell. I remember some island, weirdly enough, that was kind of named something along the lines of Devil's Island, but not really Devil's Island. I don't know. Maybe they mistranslated it here, who knows. Anyway, medium poem Afflatus, Solitude of the Chinese Fir Plant Poem Composition. Aha. Fragrance Note, Woody, Vetiver, Patchouli Soil. Okay. Anyway, voice lines. Okay, some of these I already heard because I was just curious how he speaks and then remembered that he stutters a lot, so let's go through this.
Здравствуйте. No, nothing. The name is on the paper. Please, have a look. Have you ever wondered why does it rain? Not about how, but why?
I mean, ecosystem and everything. Without it, it will be busted. Condensation?
The future. There may be Tsar no more. But I won't go back to St. Petersburg either. I like the bison in the Far East. And Zima.
Okay, so he's from St. Petersburg as well. Okay.
Simu Joshmoiti Petromzerna.
Okay, thanks.
I'm not writing poems.
Okay.
The inspiration always comes at night. Till now.
Okay.
You're awake? Would you like to hear my work from last night? Just one more page. Now I'm going out for a walk. The moonlight is beautiful. It's good for writing. Maybe you should try to write a poem too.
I'm having a dumb feeling considering how much he talks. That he grew kinda attached to Vertin.
Inspirations are elusive. They come and go as they please.
Yes.
Think much, write less. Just like chatting.
Uh-huh.
Warm, windproof, Shuba.
Shuba.
Everyone should have it.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps I once too was a lively bird.
Now that would be wild. That would be wild if you are some form of a reincarnated Gideon in some form.
You've won my respect. Although it might not help.
Alright.
Zima is close to you. It's not just an assumption.
Uh-huh.
The throne of the Tsar is covered in heaps of gold and stains of blood. It is dwarfed by the firs and the frozen land.
Mm-hmm.
Write when you want. Stop when you don't. There are not many poems like the orange hair thinks.
Sonetto.
The fallen Tsar is just like the fallen leaves on the island. Zima, do you know what the Tsar is? Huh. You walked so quietly.
Oh, excuse me.
Can I not go?
Okay, that's my favorite line so far. Can I not go?
Not even close to the soldiers. Хорошо.
Хорошо. Select 3-star incantation.
I've prepared something.
Yes.
Calm down. Zima is ebullient. It's just a greeting.
Yes.
A safe distance. Keep distance when socializing.
This guy.
Не было бы счастья, да на счастье помогло.
Aha. What is this one? What is the cast ultimate one?
Violence is not good.
Okay.
Хорошо. I'll go back then.
Good.
Zima. Poems are my expressions.
Okay, and the last one is locked because it's behind a garment. This is kind of funny to go through, considering he probably, out of all of the characters that I've listened to so far, he probably has the smallest amounts of just words in general across all of his voice lines. But because he speaks slow and stutters, that took a while. Damn. Alright, item stuff. Hold on. Can I find a translation for this? Alright, so just to make things easier for myself here, so the first thing the writing said essentially is named after Clio, the goddess of history and heroic poetry, and one of the muses in Greek mythology, written in Greek letters. So yeah, both of these are written in Greek, which is very interesting. The second item, the shawl in the front is written in Greek letters, yeah, for Pan, the god of nature and herding in Greek mythology, and I don't know how the first, I think Tsu or something, is written in Greek letters for the northern region of Italy. Ah, okay. He has some interesting naming conventions, but anyway. The first item, so the writing said, used by the owner extravagantly, both the paper and quill wore out very quickly. After the owner moved to the exiled land, replenishing this set of tools was no longer a possibility. Thus, the vast pale snow became his paper. Thankfully, he never had the habit of preserving his work. Alright, and the shawl, a parting gift from a poet friend. The scarf is well made with smooth stitchings and is very warm. The message that arrived with it reads, "The dark wilderness hides a little beast running quietly." And the final thing here that I don't have unlocked is the little burb himself, Zima, a gray-headed chickadee that lives on some remote island. It has a wide range of expressions and movements, a poetry lover, a social butterfly, and Zima's chief spokesbird. Technically speaking, it is the real Zima. That is kinda hilarious. I will not lie. Technically speaking, it's the real Zima. Honestly, now that I've read that and taking the story into consideration, yeah, it is kinda more so Zima than the human taking the Zima name. Very funny. Alright, this story I do have fully unlocked in game, so let's see. Free land. During the time of the Russian Empire, the Tsar's policy of punitive reclamation had made inhospitable Siberia the most suitable place for exiled political prisoners and criminals. Handcuffed and shackled, the persecuted dissidents were escorted by the army to another world. They set off from the prisoners of the Peter and Paul fortress over at the Ural Mountains, past the Siberian prisons, across the Tatar Strait, and then went straight to the place of tragedy which would linger in history for a long time to come. A lonely poet, too, quietly set foot in this land of darkness. Okay, that's all. Alright, the second one. A poem carved in stone. Met an odd chickadee, which bumped into my book of poems. Besides the wind tonight, we were there, 4 eyes staring straight at each other, occasionally, listening to the sounds of the night. It is chirping at the convergence of the glacier and Venus. It asked, "Are you alone?" In the unexpected heavy snow, shivering as it soared in the sky, while the man on the ground yawned, "No, I have many friends." Interesting. So the poem is about the two of them meeting for the first time. Cute. Oh god, what is this gonna be about? The Pandora Wilson interview, huh? Zima on the island. Winter on the island. You are able to communicate with animals without much trouble, yet have difficulty socializing. Do you feel regretful about this? It's better this way. So, did you choose to be sent to this island that's isolated from the world? No, but it's nice. I've read your poems in many places around the island. The animals seem to enjoy them. Oh. Why just the oh? Is he surprised about that? Or rather that probably surprised about that she went all around the island to read the poems or something. That's all for our interview today. I must say, you've worked very hard. My pleasure. I think I should choose someone more appropriate to interview next time, such as Zima. Yes, interview the bird. The bird is gonna be probably more fluent. Very interesting. A nice little blurb of text. Okay, but as short as this episode is, this marks the end for Zima's both Anecdote and, well, his entire file. Very short. And it's kind of very funny to think about. Everything around him, all the story, both the Anecdote one and everything written in here, everything is as short as he's short-spoken when it comes to it. Kind of fits the theme for him. But yeah, okay. Very interesting character. Definitely. Honestly, it didn't even occur to me that that the bird could be almost a bigger character than him. That's kind of funny. But yeah, interesting analogy that the bird itself could be actually considered more Zima than the human accompanying the bird. Very funny. But yeah, a very interesting character. I do wonder then, there's probably the whole conversation between him and Getian. I don't remember, I think one of you mentioned that there is a wilderness conversation between the two of them. I might just skim over that one in my own time just to see what it is, what the two of them say to each other, because I'm very curious about that one. Actually, maybe I can find it. Hold on. Maybe I can find it. If you're on the topic, why not? Okay, found it on the wiki. What is this? Okay, so beginning from Getian. Good morning. Zima says nothing. Indeed, the wind blows softly today. A most auspicious time to spread one's wings. Zima says nothing again. After brief After this brief interaction, I am even more convinced of your literary prowess. I shall leave you to your peace for now, and return at another time. To what Zima just replies with a chirp. This guy, I like him. It's just chirp. What the hell is this guy? That was the entire conversation between the two of them? Really? Funny. That's their first meeting. Or maybe one of the first meetings, who knows? What the hell? Anyway, this will be it for this part then. We had some fun. We met a guy. Or we met a bird? More birds. I don't know. It's something. But anyway, this will be it for this part. Next time we're gonna dive into the new ending that, like I said, into the new ending that I added for A Series of Dusks. See what is happening over there. And after that, it's gonna be time to see what's up in Reyashki and what that story is about. But until then, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did so, please consider leaving a like. It will help out a lot. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Leave a comment for even more algorithm boosting help. And if you want to support me more directly, memberships are open. And like I always say, no video will be behind a membership. It's purely there for support. Thank you very much to all the members already doing so. Much appreciated. And I hope you all have a fantastic day wherever you are. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye. Chirp.